Greetings! Time for another story. Oh, it's good coffee. You know how to tell a true Alaskan male, don't you? They never wash their coffee cups. Let the patina grow. Makes better coffee. And if you have to wash it, just use fresh cold water like to wash, like whiskey glasses. They never put them in soapy water. Good stuff. Well, I guess I need to start at the beginning. People have asked me a number of times if I have ever lived or hiked or fished or hung around Juneau, and the answer is yes. I spent about a year in Juneau, maybe a little more. I'm a person that started college late and nearly 30 years old, so through a bunch of circumstances and miracles, I started to attend college here in Sitka. But I wanted to get done as fast as I could, as cheaply as I could, and I wanted to get a double degree, a double science degree, BS in science. Sounds good, doesn't it? A BS. Well, I ended up getting BS, all right. Anyway, there was a bunch of classes I needed, and Juneau had them offered and they didn't have them offered in Sitka. I was going to have to wait because when the professors were gone or whatever, you can't take that class, you got to take another one, blah, 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 blah. You know how that goes. So I went over to University of Alaska in Juneau. Now the campus isn't in the city of Juneau, but it's out at Auk Lake. A beautiful campus. You know, beautiful views of on the lake, beautiful views of the glacier coming down, you know, Juneau Glacier and so forth. And about, a third of a mile through the woods on a trail is the housing for students. And there's about 50, 60 students stay in that housing, mostly graduate students that have come in to take fisheries courses or whatever, and then people like me that came in, older students. And then a lot of other people, you know, they live in town and go to college just like anywhere else. Drive back and forth. Anyway, they had the finest housing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, imagine beautiful fourplexes with 4 bedrooms, a full bath, a living room with a color television set, and TV was included, and a full kitchen. Well, I've always cooked. I still do. Been married, what, almost 35 years, and I do all the cooking. My wife says I married her for a kitchen. Anyway, I decided to take a bunch of courses in Juneau. Yeah, when I got to Juneau, they asked me, you know, what was my background and so forth. And I said, I've done this or that, and little business stuff, and whatever. I said, well, we need a store manager. You're going to be it. So they made me manager of the student store, you know, purchasing inventory, collected the money. It was only open from about 5 in the evening till 9 at night, 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd really even have to show up because I had 5 employees I had to take care of too, students, through a student work program. So anyway, it's interesting. The first week I doubled their sales. Now they didn't sell a whole lot of stuff because just the students there and a few other people, pop and candy bars and this and that. Well, first thing I did is I ordered a little freezer. A little one, about 5 cubic feet, not very big. I filled that thing up with Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars. And boy, did I sell ice cream bars. The next year I was there, they were selling ice cream bars like crazy. Anyway, I've always thought about, when I first started college, I figured, well, if you play the game right and always took a full load, always 18 credit or more. You know, I wanted to get done as quick as I could. Like I said, I got 2 degrees in about 5 years. You know, I worked part-time on the side, whatever, but I learned that if you keep your nose to the grinding stone, you got a 3.5 grade point average, you did everything you're supposed to do, there were certain benefits, like grants and fee waivers and whatever. Well, to make a long story short, I went to school 5 years, living in a 10 by 10 bedroom. That's what I lived in. I had my suitcases, my gun, my fishing pole, and a few other accessories. No archery outfit. That was my total possessions. But I lived in that 10 by 10 room at both colleges, smaller room. Never had a car. But I ended up getting the 2 degrees. I had 5 years of college. And by the time I was done, I only had a $10,000 student loan. And there were times that I got what were called fee waivers. Now, the only other people I saw got fee waivers were the basketball players. And I was told just keep my mouth shut, and I did. So anyway, I got through 5 years of college and a couple of degrees. Pretty dang cheap. But anyway, that was all, looking back, you know, that was set up by the Lord. He had set that whole 5 years of my life up in advance. So when I went through that period of time in my life, everything just kind of went along the way it was supposed to go. Very little problems, lots of benefits, and a lot of interesting times too. Anyway, most of us in the housing and so forth, and people I hung around, were all older students. About half lived in housing, and about the other half lived in town. And of course, the ones in town and a couple in the housing, they had cars. And there was a number of the girls that would take me, you know, shopping. They'd take me out to lunch sometimes. We go to a movie. They had a car that could, you know, it was really nice that they had a vehicle. I didn't have a vehicle. I got to tell you, but one friend, Lori, she took me a couple of times to what they call the Alaska Bar. And that's downtown in Juneau. And not a very big bar, but it's one of Juneau's oldest. Now, I'm not a drinker. She wasn't even much of a drinker. But I don't know if it's still there or not, but there was a little stairway that went up towards the back of the bar, and there was a little balcony platform up there. Really small. Just enough for a little table and 2 little chairs like this. And you could look down at everybody down below. And she'd pick me up a few times, and we'd go out there, and we'd sit there and watch the people down below us, you know. And of course, she was from Juneau, and so she knew a lot of them. She says, wow, look at that guy. He's going to make the make on that girl over there. Oh, no, that one over there crashed and burned. You know, I mean, just interesting watching the people, how they interact with each other in a bar. But anyway, that was our entertainment sometimes. So, yeah, like I said, it's a beautiful campus. And I used to have my own little table area that instead of walking back to the housing between classes, I would just stay stay there on the main campus, and I had my own table. And there was a group of us that all hung together. You know, anywhere from 6 to 10 people at a time, older students. Some were married, some were not. But we all hung together because we were older, you know, from 25 to some of them may have been 35 years old. So we hung together as a nice group. And what was interesting is that you probably can't do this anymore, but they used to have kayaks on the lake right there at the university. And so we just go on down and open up the bottom doors. You could take a kayak out, didn't have to check it out. You just climb in it, went around Auk Lake, you know, kayaking. It's all kinds of fun. Then put it back. Probably can't do now. Now you have to have a permit, probably. You know, worse off, you probably have to have a life jacket, which none of us wore. Remember, this was damn near 40 years ago. And we used to do a lot of fishing together. Now, we would fish Dolly Varden in the Gastow Channel and up and down through oh, they call that Shrine of St. Teresa, I think it is. But one of our favorite places was Cowie Creek. And we go out there and spend the whole day out Cowie Creek fishing for Dolly Varden. My friend had a girlfriend that, you mentioned going fishing, and I mean, she, like that, she had her pole and her rubber boots on. And off we go. And we spend the whole day fishing for Dolly Varden right there at the creek, or sometimes we'd go over to Windfall Creek and fish for red salmon or something. And we'd build a big fire, and we'd sit there and we're cooking dinner, you know. We cook up the dollies right there on the spot. And none of us were big partiers or drinkers or anything like that, you know. But we'd go on picnics. I had a friend, her name was Sally, and she took me on nice picnic lunches. She'd pack up, she had lived in town. She'd pack up lunches for me and stuff. We'd go out and picnic and sit on the beach sometimes. But, you know, I also had another friend, he owned a fishing boat, pretty good size, 21 feet, 22 feet cover fishing boat down at T Harbor. So I'd go with him once in a while. We'd go out, we'd troll, catch a few king salmon, bring them back. Now you remember, we're starving college students, you know, so all the guys I know practically went hunting. I even helped one guy get a bear. He got a bear permit for Addmotor Island, and we went over there. I spotted the bear for him. He was about ready to give up. I said, hey, how about that one sitting over there? So that was kind of weird. But anyway, that's another story. I won't get into it. But we got a bear. And there were bears all around the campus, especially out by the student housing. So when you walk to class and back, you'd see black bears all the time. I remember one time I was walking along, I hear this howling sound. I look up, you know. Here's this little cub black bear. These were black bears mostly hanging around. There's a little black bear up in the tree, you know. I'm looking at it, laughing, you know, and then I look down at the bottom of the tree, there's a mama bear looking at me like that, you know. But I never heard of anybody who was ever bothered by a bear there. I had one really good friend from Admiralty Island. Her and her sister were from Admiralty Island, and they both liked to hunt and stuff. Her name was Cindy, and I used to take my bow and leave the campus, and there used to be a trail behind the campus that went up the mountain up towards Spalding Meadows. But even back then, the trail was in really bad shape. And it was difficult getting around, but we'd go up there and I'd take my bow with me, you know, and shoot grouse. But anyway, Cindy'd come along with me, and she would, you know, pluck the grouse and gut them out for me and get them all ready to cook, you know. So she was a lot of fun. And then when I had beautiful, her and I used to go out and sit on the bench at night, because in Juneau you could really see the northern lights sometimes. I mean, they are just dancing all over the place. And a bunch of us get together, 4 or 5 at a time. We say, hey, let's take the ferry to Petersburg, Alaska. So we get on the ferry, you know, 4 or 5 of us, and we'd normally just sat in the chairs, or we sat in the back of the chairs at night, because the stars were just incredible. There's no night lights and the northern lights and stuff. We go down to, say, you know, to Petersburg, and another time we went up to Skagway and played around. And then we spent some time up at Haines, and we went to Glacier Bay one time on the ferry, and clear out Icy Strait to Pelican. That's a beautiful little town out there. So we did all kinds of things like that, and had all kinds of lots of fun, really, considering how much time I had to spend studying, which I did. I stayed on those books, man. I had to have that 3.5 grade point average so I could get that free money. You know, one of the strangest things I ever saw was I was walking home. There was a little store down at the harbor boat launch, which was about a half mile from where I lived there on the campus. And I was coming back, and it was just blowing and storming like crazy. And I hear this thump. I look around. What was that? Right here. Thump. Thump. Look. It's a fish. fish. It was a herring about that long. And then thump, 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 thump. It was raining herring. So when people say they saw fish falling out of the sky when it was raining, I saw it. I mean, they were just falling. Boop, 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 boop. They're still alive, kicking. You know. I think what happened is it was blowing and storming so much that out in the bay there must have been a water spout or something. Picked up these herring and brought them into the shore. You know, because I was only, well, maybe a quarter mile from the ocean. Yeah, but it was really strange to look around and see all these herring flopping around. So they say that, you know, it does rain fish. I know, I saw it. And I used to spend time over in Douglas Island. We'd go deer hunting over there. And one of our biggest activities is a number of us that like to shoot, you know, archery. But Juneau has the best archery range of anywhere I've seen, ever. We go up, one of the guys had a car, so he'd take us up there. We go up Montana Creek. What got me, there's a guy up there raising goats. I figured out why he was raising goats in Juneau. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, we went up the end of Montana Creek Road up there, and they had the archery range. And the archery range was all through the woods on a trail. And there would be little posts in the ground, and it would say, deer, 45 yards. So you would stop there and you'd look, and you'd see a target back in the woods, and it'd be a deer, and it'd be 45 yards. Another time you'd be over a canyon or something, and it'd be a mountain goat or a sheep, or and then there'd be close ones, like 20 yards, there's a grouse. And you look, and oh, there's a grouse target. But here's a picture of what the targets look like. This one's kind of out in the open in the Muskeg area. But a lot of it's under the trees. And I don't know how far it covered, but I think there must have been about 30 targets. So we'd go around and stop, and we'd fire 3 arrows at each target, each of us. And then eventually come out. And the last target was an 80-yard shot at a standing brown bear target 80 yards away. The thing is like the whole target area is covered with muskeg swamp. So if you missed the target, kiss your arrow goodbye, because it went right down into that muskeg. You'd never see it again. So we always fired one long shot, you know, a chuck and chance type thing. There it goes. Sometimes you hit the target and get your arrow back. Too many times. But we'd spend a whole day. It'd take us 3 or 4 hours to go through that whole archery range. That is a beautiful archery range. Yeah, like I said, we did a lot of hiking. Back up into Spalding Meadows. If we would get somebody to drive us somewhere, you know, if I knew somebody or somebody to take us and drop us off or whatever, we'd go on longer trips. We'd go up and explore that area around Mount McGinnis, which is on the left-hand side of the Juneau Glacier coming down. Of course, we hung around the glacier. We go visit there and other different places. Went out toward the road on the other end of the other side of Juneau. Went through the mines, you know, over at Douglas Island and other areas. There's a big mining area in Juneau. There's a lot of history there and old mines to look at and equipment. Well, we made a couple of longer trips. We made a trip up Nugget Creek. I took another guy with me, and dang, if I can remember his name. He was a graduate student coming down from Fairbanks to get his graduate degree at Juneau, University of Alaska, in fisheries. I can't remember that guy's name, but he went with me, and here's some pictures here that I took on that trip. We took his little mountaineering tent. We went up Nugget Glacier. From Nugget Glacier, we got up underneath Mount Bullard, and here's a picture of our area up around Mount Bullard. If you look real close on the picture, you'll see our tent way down there on top of that little grassy knoll. And from there, we went up around what do you call it? Gold Creek Basin, I guess. Thunder Mountain, up in that area. Up around the glaciers. Had the ice axes with us. We didn't do too much, just played around. It was a nice sunny day. But I made a couple of trips, and then we made a couple of hunting trips to Admiralty Island, where we flew into a Forest Service cabin, of course, and hunted from the cabin. We got stuck in there once. We flew into Turner Lake on Admiralty Island, and it was a nice, warm, sunny day. Not a snow on the ground or nothing. And we all just got out, went out, started getting a few deer, and boy, the next morning it got cold. Oh, it got down to like 10 degrees. And then it started snowing. Now, we were brought in on a floatplane, and it got so cold that the ice was starting to build on top of the lake. And then it sucked in and snowed for like 2-3 days, and they couldn't come and get us. So instead of being there for 2 nights, I think we were there for 4. Fortunately, we had some fresh venison to eat. Other than that, I've been pretty hungry. And there was a lot of wood around that we kept the little wood stove in the Forest Service cabin going. So no problem. But a couple times we tried to get out, and it was the deepest snow I had ever been in my life. It had snowed. It must have snowed 4 feet. I mean, I was walking around with snow up to my waist trying to plow through it. Couldn't do it. And we were really getting nervous about the lake freezing over. There was a little boat on the lake. We thought maybe we should go out on that lake and smash the ice. And we were about ready to, and we had everything packed up. For the second day in a row, we're waiting for a plane, listening, you know. Eventually, we could hear the plane circling, and the guy came in and was able to land on the lake and get us out of there. But, yeah, we got a couple extra days vacation and missed a few classes. So anyway, that was kind of my adventures in Juneau. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm just about there a year and a half or less. Picked up a lot of college courses I wish I had, I really needed in order to graduate sooner. I basically graduated from college in the spring of 1991. And before then, of course, I met Peggy. And so what was nice is after graduation, we got married. And like she said, I got my kitchen. I even had access to a car. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a story. Some of you might got bored with it. I don't know, but I needed to tell a story about my experiences in Juneau, Alaska. So I'll have a lot more stories coming. Probably have some college stories about my Sheldon Jackson College and Sitka Alaska college experiences too. Until then, thanks for watching.